Warm welcome to all of you. My name is Abhinav, and today we are going to begin this NTSC series in which we are going to cover all the chapters related to NTSC. This is the first video of this series, and this is about agriculture, a very short topic which we can cover in 30 to 40 minutes, but it has a good weightage in examination. If I tell you, in the NTSC examination comprises of 200 marks, in which 100 marks is of MAT examination, MAT, mental ability test, and SAT, scholastic abilities test. So it has three sections. First is science, 40 marks. Okay, 40 marks. SST, 40 marks, and maths, 40 marks. So if you get your SST strong, you can easily score 30 to 35 marks in this examination. So without further ado, let's begin agriculture. We know in India that the majority of the country is engaged in agriculture activities. By agriculture activity, we mean a broad term of activities which are related to nature. They can also be said as primary activities. For example, that when we go into villages, we see that many types of activities are going there. Someone is herding animals, someone is farming. So agriculture is a very broad term, and that's how farming is different from the agriculture. Farming only compromises of sowing of a seed, it's harvesting, but agriculture is a very broad term. I hope you understand it now. Now, one more thing, that it is a primary activity, but as we do it, we produce raw materials for various industries, and by various industries, we mean secondary activities or manufacturing activities, activities. Now, let's talk about types of farming, because if you're talking about farming, let's go straight ahead to the types of farming. There are broadly three types of farming. Okay, these types are: first is primitive. I'm not asking the full name. Primitive, inten, primitive substances, subsistence farming. Tick. Now two. Second is, of course, intensive substances farming, and the third is commercial farming. Commercial farming. So let's decode their titles so that we can understand what are they trying to say. Let's go with titles. So first is primitive. Primitive. Primitive means old. Substances means bare minimum level. Okay. Substances means bare minimum level, and farming, I have told farming before. It's intensive. Intensive means very, very hard or intense. Substances means, of course, bare minimum level, and farming, I have told you before. Commercial means selling. Commercial means commercial activities, selling, buying for with money, enumeration. Okay, so first is primitive farming. I have told you before, we have decoded its name, so we know that is it is a very small type of farming which was used in old times. Primitive means old times, with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dao, and digging sticks, with family, community, neighbor, as we didn't hire labor in old times, right? Now we know that in previous times we didn't have the power, we didn't have the technology which can change our farming scenario, but today we have it. So in old times we didn't have these things, therefore we used natural conditions to grow our crops, just such as monsoon, natural fertility, suitability to other environment. This practice was called slash and burn agriculture. It has many different names which can come in your exam. We will discuss each name, okay? But you know what is slash and burn agriculture? It is a very basic thing, so I am going to skip it for now. but it's just about cutting the trees and then burning them after leaving the land so that they can regain its fertility. See, the farmers shift and clear a fish plant of land for cultivation. Now, this type of shifting allows replenish the fertility through natural processes. Okay, this is what I have been telling you to say. Now, it is jamming. Northeastern seems like Assam, Meghalaya, Meghalaya, Nagaland. So, jamming is the name of slash and burn agriculture, but it is called in northeastern states. Every state has a different name for different things, right? For example, if you calls pani puri in your state, then someone calls puchka in other states, someone called golgappa in other states. So a same thing have many different names. So just remember this jamming in northeastern states, pumlao in Manipur, and these are not important, but this one is important. Where is this? Huh? Bewar and dhaiya in Madhya Pradesh, penda in Andhra Pradesh, and Roca in Brazil. These are very, very important. Roca in Brazil, Bevar Dhaye in Madhya Pradesh, Penda. If you note it down, if you don't have a book, note it down on some notes where you can see it. Okay. Now, intensive, we have also discussed it. This is the modern day farming in which we use fertilizers, in which biochemical inputs, irrigation for a higher production. The labor intensive farming, right? High dose of biochemical inputs. I have also told you before. Why does it happen? Intense. Why does it happen? Because of the high population pressure. Commercial farming, we know commercial farming, the farming in which we use money to sell or buy our crops, that is called commercial farming. The farming done for profit is commercial farming. So higher doses of modern input, high yielding variety seeds. Why high yielding? Because the more the yield, the more the money we get. Chemical fertilizers, insecticides, very basic topic, very basic topics I'll be discussing right now. Now, the degree of commercialization. What do you mean by commercialization? Commercialization is term directly related to commercial activities. Therefore, the degree of commercialization means that in one state, for example, in Punjab and Haryana, rice is a commercial crop. Rice is used for selling or buying. They don't grow it to eat it; they grow it to sell it. But in Odisha, it is subsistence crop. They eat it. They use it for their personal consumption. But Haryana and Punjab have surplus quantities that they sell it. Plantation is also a type of cultivate commercial farming, of course. A single crop is grown on a large area. This is important. Remember this. Examples are, for example, Assam, we have teas, right? Coffee, bananas, very examples. Okay, no need to fear. Yeah, tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane, banana, very important examples. Tea in Assam, North Bengal, coffee in Karnataka. Of course, coffee in Karnataka is very important. Remember it. Cropping patterns. There are three types of pattern of cropping. Okay, and these terms are Rabi, Kharif, and I don't see Zad. Zad. Okay, so these are very important. Rabi crops are sown in winter, and October to December के period में they are sown. In April to June they are harvested. Remember this, as they are sown in winter season and harvested in beginning of summer. Some of the important Rabi crops are wheat, barley, peas. Now remember these examples: wheat, barley, peas, gram, and mustard. States like northern this is a very basic knowledge that these states, these rabi crops are growing in the high in the areas where the productivity is good, where the fertility is good. So it is grown in northern plains, and these are Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu, Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh. These are the examples. Availability of precipitation. Now precipitation also plays a very huge factor in this. And what is this precipitation come from? Western temperate cyclones that occur. So this is from where the precipitation comes from. Okay, now I will tell you some important things which you can star mark, okay, in these things. So first of all, kharif crops are grown onset of monsoon. Why? Because they need very very high amount of water. And when do we get water? We get water in monsoon, and these are harvested in September, October, because we know that November, December we sow rabi crops. So before that, we need to harvest kharif crops, because if the land is not clear, how can you sow the seeds? Basic sense, right? Now seasons: paddy, maize, ज्वार, bajra, मूंग, उड़द की दाल, jute, groundnut, soybean, ये सब, these are the examples. The most important rice growing regions are Assam, Paschim Bengal, coastal regions of Odisha. You know why? Because they have high rainfall, and where is high rainfall, there is a high chance of rice growing, higher productivity. Recently, paddy has, okay, this is not that important. Zad crop. Uh, in most books, Zad crops is not mentioned, but it should be mentioned now. That remember this. In a timeline, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल, मई, जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, ऐसे करके दिसंबर. So in which November, this part is covered, this part is covered, but what is left is this part. What will you do of this part? Are you going to just uh, leave your feel like that? No, we are going to grow fruits and vegetables in it. And these zad crops are the very crops which are grown in the summer seasons. These crops have lower maturity time, so they can be quickly matured in 2 or 3 months. So these crops are watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber, vegetables, fodder crops, sugarcane. Sugarcane is an important example because it is an exception. For example, we have chemistry, and which chemistry we have many exceptions, and this sugarcane is also an exception, who takes almost a year to grow. Now the major crops, that sugarcane is an exception who takes almost a year to grow, which is a very high time. Now rice. Rice is the staple food crop of the majority of the people in India. Of course, staple means the basic food crop, okay, of this country. Our country is the second largest producer of the rice. Second largest producer of the rice in the world after China. It is a point to be noted. Please note it down. I request, please note it down. Our country is the second largest producer of the rice in the world after China. It is a kharif crop. Rice is a kharif crop which requires high temperature. Rice is grown in the plains of north and north. A very, very basic thing I have told you how many times, that where you receive rainfall, where the soil is fertile, you can easily grow many types of crop. Wheat is the second most important cereal crop. It is the main food in north and northwestern parts of the country. It is the main food. Okay. This rabi crop requires a cool growing season and the bright sunshine at a time of ripening. It requires 50 to 75 centimeter of annual rainfall, right? Because rabi crops don't need so much water. 50 to 75 of annual rainfall is not that much. Okay. What is that much? Matlab, what is high? Then this is above 100 centimeter, and that is used in cases of rice, which is a kharif crop. Now it is a very important thing. It can come in your exam. There are two important wheat growing zones in the country: the Ganga Satluj plain and the black soil of the region of the Deccan Plateau. Remember this. It can come in your plane. Just remember this. Now say it with me. Whose are two regions that we should remember? First is Ganga Satluj plain, and second is the black soil region of the Deccan. Second, now you should remember this. Now millets. There are three types of millet that are very important to us, and we should know these three millets: jowar, bajra, and ragi. They are grown in India, and these are known as quaj grains. Quaj grains because they have spots in them, they have holes in through them, so they are called quaj. They have very high nutrition value. Just like example, ragi is very rich in iron, calcium. Now, note it down. I clearly say note it down in your copy. I will give you a in and I will give you a sticky note type to where I have written most of the important things. But these are very important. This will come in your exam. Jowar is the third most important food crop. Okay, jowar, jowar. Okay. Maharashtra is the largest producer of jowar, just like Rajasthan is the largest producer of bajra, and the ragi's largest producer is Karnataka. Karnataka was something else, right? What was it? What was this? Comment. What was it? It started with C and ended with E. Maize. Maize is a kharif crop which requires temperature between 21 to 27 degrees Celsius. You mean room temperature, right? It's 25 degrees Celsius. It is called its own alluvial soil. Abhi Bihar is recently Bihar have used HYV seeds to increase its production. Pulses. India is the largest. Noted down. India is the largest producer as well the consumer of pulses in the world. These are the major source of protein in vegetarian diet because it is purely vegetarian and many people can't afford or they don't want to eat non-vegetarian food for protein, but protein is essential for us, so pulses is a big source for it. India is largest producer and consumer. This is so important that you should write it down in your copy. Write it down now. All these crops except arhar help in restoring soil fertility by fixing nitrogen from the air. All of these crops except what? Arhar helps in restoring soil fertility by fixing nitrogen from the air. For what do you mean by it? They are leguminous crops. Leguminous means that these crops help in fixing the nitrogen fertility. Let's talk about food crops other than grains. Sugarcane. Sugarcane is a very important in which a very important point, it is grown in tropical as well as subtropical region. It is a very important point. Note it down. It can come in questions, right? We will solve questions right now. For example, it will hardly take 12 minutes more to complete this chapter. Then we will solve questions and that will take around 10 minutes. So let's go with this. They have annual rainfall between 70. One thing I would like to tell you all that if you want to grow something, right, you need rainfall. But what if you don't receive rainfall? You need water to grow your crops, but you don't receive rainfall. So what will you do? You will start irrigation, providing water to our soils manually, not depending on natural conditions. We provide it naturally, and that is called irrigation. So that is an important thing I would like to tell to you all. And if you want, note it down. Oil seeds. Oh, okay. Sorry. Now, it is a very one thing I would like to say to you all that note it down. India is the second largest producer of sugarcane only after Brazil. Brazil is the first largest producer of the sugarcane. And sugarcane, through sugarcane, we acquire sugar, good, jaggery, of course, khandasari and molasses. They made sure, don't remember these states, they are not of much use. India is the largest producer of oil seeds in the world. A very good thing that India is the biggest and largest, as our country is India. Very good. Different oil seeds are grown approximately in 12% of the total crop area of the country. Oil seeds are very important for us, such as groundnut, mustard, coconut, sesame, soybean, castor seed, cotton seeds, linseed, sunflower. Everything is very important. It is a kharif crop. Groundnut is a kharif crop. And by kharif crop, I say one. Andhra Pradesh is the largest producer of the groundnut. Remember this? Note it down. Okay, note it down. Don't take stress. You will remember it by time. No, just note it down and see it every morning so that your mind will remember it. After seeing much times, it will be automatically saved in your memories. Okay. Now I will tell you. Sesame is an exception, a very important exception. Sesame, because we know there are three types of crop, but let's say we have broadly two types of crop: Kharif and Rabi. Sesame behaves as Rabi and Kharif both. In northern part it behaves as Kharif, and in southern part it behaves as Rabi. Do you understand? It has dual nature. It is like light. It has dual nature. Tea cultivation is an example of plantation agriculture. It is an important beverage of crop in India. The tea plantation is owned by Indians. Tea plantation is owned by Indians. No. In previous times, for example, if I tell you, in previous times, the India didn't have tea. A very important fact that tea is not India originated. Tea comes from Yemen. We acquired tea from Yemen, and it was Arabica variety. It should be written here. Uh, uh, yeah, coffee. Sorry, coffee. We got Arabica variety from Yemen, produced in the country. I'm very sorry from my side. It was in Baba Budan Hills, and even today it is grown. Tea is a labor-intensive industry. It requires abundant, skilled, and cheap labor. What does it mean? That the because we know that tea is grown, and you have seen in the mountains. If you don't just see an image online, that even in the vast mountains, even the vast terrace farming, they will see many workers which are exceptionally skilled in their work, harvesting teas, which requires skill. You also know that these are grown not in the eastern parts, and coffee was introduced from Yemen, Arabica variety. Horticulture. What do you mean by horticulture? Horticulture means the culture of fruits and vegetables, and India is the largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world. Again, a point to be noted down. Mangoes of Mara. Don't remember this. See, it doesn't come in your exam, and it's too much to remember, right? Just take a overview. Oranges of Nagpur, Cherrapunji, bananas of Kerala, Mizoram, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, lychee and guava of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, pineapples of Meghalaya. Don't remember this. These will not help you, and it will only burden your mind. India produces about 30% of the world's vegetable. Okay, non-food crops. Crops doesn't mean that it should be a food. There are some crops which are not used in eating. First is rubber. Can you eat rubber? Tell me in comments. Can you eat rubber? Rubber is an equatorial crop. What do you mean equatorial? See, we know that Earth. This is our Earth. Okay, it is divided into an equator, right? From this is latitude, so it is divided. It divides country into two equal parts, northern and southern. So it is equator, and we know that India is specifically very close to equator, and above it is tropic of Cancer, and this is tropic of Capricorn. We know that tropic of Cancer. Now we know that equator, the this middle part of the country where of the world that divides our world in Earth into two equal parts, north and south. So this is equatorial crop. And what is tropical and subtropical? We know that if it divides, equator divides in two equal parts, we know that there are further divisions. It is tropic of Capricorn and tropic of Cancer. This one is Cancer, tropic of Cancer, and this one is tropic of Capricorn. So this region is called tropical, and this is subtropical. अबे पागल है क्या यार तू? Now we know tropical and subtropical as well. Now it requires moist and humid climate with rainfall more than 200 centimeters. Rubber is an industrial raw material, very important, right? Now note it down. India ranks fifth among world's natural rubber producers. Now there are fiber crops. There are four prominent types of fiber crops, which are cotton, jute, hemp, and natural silk, in which these first three are naturally grown, and natural silk is acquired from silkworms, which are fed on green leaves, especially mulberry leaves. I will tell you about it. Don't worry. Cotton. India is the third. Note it down, right? I have said many times, but note it down. India is the third largest producer of the cotton into the world. Okay, third largest. Cotton grows well in drier parts of country. Black cotton soil, black soil of the Deccan Plateau. We know it, right? 210 frost-free days. It's a condition. In Kharif crop requires 6 to 8 months to mature. Jute is known as golden. This is a question which can definitely will come in your MCQs. Golden fiber. Jute is known as golden fiber. Either they will ask what is jute called as, or either they will ask what type of crop is golden fiber. So you will write jute. It is if you think about it, uh, it is quite costly. So it is losing market. particularly through synthetic fibers and packing materials such as nylon. It is used in making gunny bags, mats, ropes. But yeah, it has high cost. So why would someone buy a high cost in such, especially in India? Uh, why would someone buy high cost material if the cheaper material is available? So we have survived this chapter, and now we just need to look at technological institutional reforms. This is just a okay, broad topic. You see, you don't have to remember anything. Just take an overview of this. The first 5-year plan aimed in land reformation, as the right of inheritance fragmented the land holdings. What do you mean by this? Suppose suppose that if someone is holding this much land, if he had three sons or three daughters, so they will have three pieces of this land? No, that will all further divide land. And if think of this, if one of them had more children, so it will all divide land. So this land get converted into this small part and this small part. You understand what I mean? That the land is going to be divided too much, due to which. Now let's talk about green revolution based on the use of package technology, and the white revolution, operation flood. White revolution, as the name suggests, uh, has brought revolution in the white field. What do you mean by white field? It is milk and dairy products. And green revolution, as we know, it is helped in production of farming and production of higher yields. The father of this green revolution is M.S. Swaminathan. Remember this name? Now, there are some government schemes which are used, such as Kisan Credit Card (KCC) and Personal Accident Insurance Scheme (PICE). Don't remember these, but these are not very important. But these are just overviews. Moreover, special weather bulletins and agriculture programs for farmers were introduced in radio and television. We know that because if the farmer don't understand what is going to happen with the weather, then how can or she will plant the crops? The government also announces minimum support price. Okay, this is very important. Why don't you mark it with a star? It's the very important topic of this chapter. A star marking question. MSP, minimum support price. So it is a price which is given by government to the farmers before the harvesting of the before the sowing of the crops, so that farmers can have a minimum return in their farming, because you don't know when the market will reach high or go down. So the government promises a minimum price of they buy it. This comes a part in the food security. We will discuss it. Okay, don't worry. Now it is a very important topic, food security. It should be here. No, it's not. Okay, first let's discuss Bhudan, then we will discuss food security. Don't worry. Bhudan or Gramdan. Bhu, as the name suggests, Bhumi. Bhumi means land. Dan means giving away to someone in need. Gram, gaon, dan. Okay, not very hard. Okay, very easy. So we know that Mahatma Gandhi was a very spiritual man, and he declared Vinoba Bhave as his spiritual successor or heir. Heir means successor. So Vinoba Bhave was a very foremost satyagrahi. He was a very important satyagrahi. He believed in the concept of Gram Swaraj. After which, Vinoba Bhave, after the martyrdom, what do you mean martyrdom? It's about the death of Sri Mahatma Gandhi. Vinoba Bhave took Padyatra to spread Gandhiji's message, conducted almost the entire country. So he conducted Gandhiji's message throughout the country. Now, he was delivering a lecture in Andhra Pradesh, where some landless people requested or demanded that some land for their economic well-being. Suddenly, Sri Ramchandra Reddy stood up and offered 80 acres of land to be distributed among 80 landless people. It is a very engaging story. Such a story about Vinoba Bhave and the concept of Bhudan and Gramdan. This was also known as bloodless revolution. And let's talk about food security, as I have promised. Although it is not a part of chapter, we can discuss it separately in next video. But why not? Let's talk about food security. Food security. It's a chapter in class ninth, but if you want to study it right now or skip this part. First is buffer stock. Buffer stock. It has two components, okay? First is buffer stock, and the second is PDS, public distribution system. Write it full form if you want. So buffer stock, by buffer we mean extra stock that we acquire and we will use it in case of need or in case of emergency. And that is buffer stock. And this buffer stock is procured means acquired by FCI, Food Corporation of India. So remember this, by giving MSP to the farmers. This is buffer stock. And what is PDS? PDS is public distribution system. Now that we have acquired buffer stock, we have to distribute it to the needy people. If you don't distribute it, what is the uh, what is the need for acquiring such buffer stock? So that compromises of food security. It has many aspects as well, but we will discuss it in next chapter because this video is already too long, right? 31 minutes have passed and we have to discuss question answers as well. This is just the last topic and then we will move to question answers, don't worry. Contribution of agriculture on the national economy. It is a very short and small topic, but a very important topic. If you look at it, 3.6%, 3.3%, 4.40%, and so if you look at it, every sector of the economy, right? Look at it. Industry is growing at very high speed, 9.5, 7.1 to 9.5, a direct jump growth. Services 6.7, 8.2, 9.1. Do you see the jump, right? But in farming, you don't see that much jump. If you think about it, you will think this is not just a very big topic, but think about it now. The majority of the population of the country is engaged in agriculture activity. If the growth is slow of this thing, then that means that 50 or more than 50% of the population will face poverty because the growth rate is so low and the population increases by time as well. And we know that our India is very populous country. So from the table, it's clear that GDP growth rate is increasing over the years, of course, but sufficient economic employment activities are not there in the country. The growth rate of agriculture is decelerating in compared to these industry services GDP in an alarming situation. Now that we have completed our topic, we can move to question answers. Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible? This is target exercise, and I have been fooled by this silly system. I have already solved all these questions, but what to do? Don't worry. Let's talk it. Let's rediscuss these questions as my recorder was not on and I have solved all these questions. Very sorry. Therefore, agriculture activities fall under which of the following activities? Agriculture activities. Agriculture means related to nature activities. And what are these activities? Primary, of course. I have told you before. Which of the following is a feature of primitive substances farming? Primitive, old age, substances, bare minimum farming. Farming depends on monsoon naturally, correct. Natural fertility of the soil, also correct. Suitability of other environmental conditions. This is also very, very, very correct. Therefore, D will be the answer. Hmm. The system of agriculture. Read it silently, but you see in exam you require high accuracy because 40 marks and you will have in SAT there are given 2 hours for 100 questions, but you can't invest your time in social science because if social science you invest too much time, then how can you solve science questions and maths questions? So please please improve your time skills and improve your time management to do problems quickly in SST, because in SST there are two questions. The first type of question is that you know, and the second is you don't know. There is not a question that you can try solving because it is all based on information. So please give SST importance, but correctly manage time. So Jhum farming will be the answer. The agriculture, which farmer clear a patch of land and produce crops. When the soil fertility decreases, the farmer shift. What is this? Slash and bulk uh, agriculture, no, slash and burn farming. Which of the following is the feature of commercial farming? Use of high yielding variety, of course, it is a feature, no doubt. No doubt, it is a feature. Use of chemical fertilizers, of course, it is a feature as well. The degree of I have talked about degree of commercialization. It means that if uh, there's a crop in one part, it is not important that in the other part of the country the crop will have the same condition as the first part of the country. A very basic common sense. Now D will the correct option. The following is not a plantation crop. Take your time. Rubber. The following is not true about rabi crops. Okay. Rabi crops are sown in July to August and harvested in September to October. I don't think so. It's wrong. Now, wheat, barley, gram, mustard are important rabi crops. Also true. These crops are grown in large parts of the country. True as well. Okay. So D will be the correct option. Because the following is not in crop of Kharif seasons. Kharif. See, this. This is a very simple question. Now, if you think on it, if the following statement is not true about rabi crops. The wheat, barley, gram, mustard are important rabi crops. Mustard is an important rabi crop. How can it be a kharif crop? It is a rabi crop, except sesame. Except sesame, there is not an exception, right? So mustard will be the correct option. The crops in between rabi and kharif season are known as zaid. Functional crop produce all of these. Watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber, they are all sown in summer seasons. The following is the largest producer of rice in the world, of course, China, because China has bigger area than the country. If the India had similar area to China, then the will have, I guess, more production of rice than China. Which of the following is important wheat growing zones in the country? Ganga Satluj Plain. We have discussed it. I have told you that it will come in your exam, and see, it has arrived in a form of MCQ question which can be asked in your exams. So, wheat growing zone, that is Ganga Satluj Plain and block soil regions of Deccan. So, both A and B. Rajasthan is the largest producer of what? I have told you, bajra. Bajra. Okay. Maize. Where is maize from? Write down in comments. Okay. I have told you what is the largest producer of the maize. And ragi. We know Karnataka is the largest producer of ragi. So India is the largest producer as well as the consumer of pulses. I have told you to write it down in a copy. And with this, I guess, yeah, two questions are left. Then we will move to high skill questions. You need to have a high skill to solve these questions. Let's see if you have the high skill or not. So the following comes the tropical as well. I have told you about sugarcane that it grows in tropical as well as subtropical region. What is tropical and subtropical region? I will tell you one more time. Last time, this time. Okay. This is an earth. Array. This is earth and this is equator. And we have talked these are tropics, two tropics. So this area between equator and tropics is called tropical area, and the area that is outside the tropic is called subtropical area. Now sugarcane, I have told that sugarcane is an important exception. So the following is largest producer of oil seeds in the world. Oil seeds in the world, I have told you to write it down in a copy. If you have wrote it down, then just answer me in 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. Sorry, I given you 5 seconds, but I took 7 seconds. The answer will be the largest producer of the world. If you have not written in the comments, please write it in the comments. The answer will be, what is the question? See, Brazil. Brazil is the largest producer of sugarcane, so it cannot be it. USA, we have not studied about USA, a single thing. Bangladesh, India is the correct answer, and our desh, our pride. Now, high skill questions. These questions are very important. These questions are highly intelligent. Highly students can solve these questions. Which of the following is not an oilseed crop? Oilseed crop. Groundnut, I have discussed about it. Soybean is also an oilseed crop. Groundnut is an oilseed crop. Sesame is, we have talked about, it is an important exceptional oilseed crop. Therefore, none of these will be the answer. Rubber is an important industrial raw material grown in which of the following states in India? So remember this: Kerala, uh, sorry, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. All of these. The answer will be all of these. Which of the following is not a fiber crop? What is not a fiber crop? Let's see: cotton, jute, hemp. Cotton is a fiber crop, no doubt. Jute is a fiber crop, no doubt. Hemp is a fiber crop, no doubt. It is one of the four crops that we have discussed. Therefore, it is none of these. The following is known as the golden fiber. I have already told you that it comes in question. So this is jute. Which of the following is the components of food security system in India? Oh my God, how many times I have to say this? But I have already told you both A and B, buffer stock and PDS. The following describes a system of agriculture where a single crop is grown on a large scale of area. Plantation agriculture. A single crop is grown on a large scale of area. Which of the following is a leguminous crop? Leguminous crops, nitrogen. Remember, nitrogen fixing crops. Pulses, millets, jowar, sesame. So the answer will be pulses, no doubt, pulses. And now these are match the following questions. With this, our chapter will be completed, and I am very happy to say that we have completed a chapter with a very good gist, and I am going to provide you a very good list of the producers of the country. So we'll discuss it in 1 minute, but let's solve these questions. Now, what is sericulture? Sericulture is the rearing of silkworms. So a ka 2 a ka 2 ठीक है. Pisciculture is the breeding of fishes. Pisciculture or pisciculture, whatever you want to say, breeding of fishes. You should have read it in biology. Pisciculture B1. Okay. Viticulture means the cultivation of grapes. Viticulture is cultivation of grapes. Horticulture, I've already told you, growing of fruits and vegetables. So C4D3. This option is correct. A option is correct. Match the following list. Rubber is grown in Paschim Banga. I will tell you the reason. Because Karnataka it is grown, Kerala Assam. If you match tea with Assam, you can get it, and coffee with Karnataka. So D1, where's D1? D1 here be and here. Okay, D1. Then you know tea from Assam. C4 here as well. Okay. Rubber A4 no, A1 something is wrong, I guess. Option is not correct. Let's see. Match. Let's match it. No. Rubber, jute, tea, coffee. So we can easily match coffee with Karnataka. D1, right? Tea with Assam and rubber with Paschim Banga. So A2. A2. Why it is not? A2. 3, 4. Yeah, this one is correct. C is correct. C is correct. What? I have been looking on this option so far. C is correct. Okay. Final one. Jamming. Jamming is properly called in northeastern countries. I have told you to remember this. Jamming is called in northeastern countries. Therefore, you will mark. Yeah. A1. Let's talk about B. Bevar. Bevar. I have told you about Bevar. Right. It is. Bevar is in Madhya Pradesh. So 1. A3, B1, C, Odisha, AP. So Bewar is Andhra Pradesh. Okay, Bewar is in Madhya Pradesh and Penda is in Andhra Pradesh. So A3, B1, C4, D2. We have scored highest order thinking questions. Now, as I am talking about, let's make a list of the producer list that I have told you. So I am writing in a short form, but you should write in full form in your copies. Okay. India, second largest producer of rice after China. Maharashtra, largest producer of jowar. I have told you before. Rewind the video if you don't believe me. Rajasthan, Bajra, it also came in the question, I guess. We know that Bajre ki roti in Rajasthan is very famous. And Karnataka, largest producer of ragi. I hope you have written in copy. Please write in your copy, right? If you don't remember these things, it can be fatal for you. If it comes in 1 or 2 marks, then your marks will be instantly deducted. But if you just practice it one more time and write it in your copy and remember it, it will be highly good for you. Now, India is first largest and producer and consumer (P&C) of producer, and not as it is not permutation and combination, it's producer and consumer of pulses I have talked about, right? India is the second largest producer of sugarcane sugarcane after Brazil. Few last points. With this we can conclude our chapter and conclude our video. Andhra Pradesh, it is the largest producer of groundnut, oilseed groundnut. India is the it is the largest producer of oil seeds. India is the largest producer of fruits and vegetables as well. Veggies. It ranks fifth rank in rubber, and finally, the last. It ranks third in cotton. With this, our chapter is concluded. Thank you very much for watching it till end, and believe me, this is a gold mine for you. It is completed. It is chapter which is highly big, but I compressed it in 50 minutes approximately, and the questions have been also done. Next time, write in the comment section which chapter do you want next, and please give me advices, as this is my first video. What to do? Give me suggestions. I highly need your suggestions because it's my beginning of my journey. Thank you very much.